You have created a game that has a general market audience. The main characters are all anamorphic characters, and the music is based on public domain classical music in order to save on the budget. When you meet a potential investor, they ask you if you can make a game that targets a black audience. What do you do?
Isn't that what you guys do?
Yes.
What do? Do what they ask? Isn't your consulting position to do this?
Someone
asks you to do your job. What should you do? Do your job.
Yeah. What else are you supposed to do?
I don't agree with your job. I think it's weird. But you know what? Like, fine.
Yeah.
Hey, can you please do your job? No. Hello, and what is going on, everybody? It is Master of the TDS, and I'm joined by my lovely wife,
Riding Raven.
And we're back for part 2 of the GDC panel from 2023, featuring Kim Belair.
Yay!
Why are we glutton for punishment exactly?
Because we needed stuff to put out while we were offline. Speaking of, hello everyone from the future.
Yes, you'll be watching this while we're offline. Apologies in advance. This is going to be very minimally edited, and it seems like our internet has decided to be a bit annoying today. So hopefully things will go well.
But otherwise, we still apologize for any technical difficulties.
Yeah, so let's get this over with. As we said, we're not going to be here, so you guys in the chat are talking to a past version of us. But thank you for the support for the first part. If we haven't seen there's been support yet, but whatever. Let's get into this before I say something even more stupid.
I mean, considering what we're watching, there will be plenty of stupid stuff said.
Yay. I hate this.
Me too.
All right, here we go.
Find that courage to speak up, because there's probably other people who are also like at risk, who you're really helping out by taking that stand.
Next one. You notice that African-American voice actors are often paid less than their white counterparts for some of the roles in your company's games. This doesn't be just voice actors. It could be anybody at your company that you notice in certain roles are being compensated less. But it's not your area. What can you do? You're not part of that department. What can you do?
I mean, I would want to ask why.
Yes, but
Well, no, I understand. So, see, this one actually makes a little sense. However, I would want to ask what the reason is. So, for example, let's say the other person's getting paid more because they have more lines, or they're playing a more main character, right? That would make sense in my book.
It would.
But if you guys are doing like the same amount of work and being paid less, then yes, I'd want to know why.
Yeah, I mean, it is a good question. Or maybe someone just does a better job and isn't crazy.
I don't know, but we'll have to see. I'd be curious how these people answer this. I think this would be hey, go ask them, and if you kind of deal with it. Like, I'm not saying that deal with it like, oh, don't make a stink about it. Like ask why and figure out reasoning behind it. Don't assume that it's racially motivated until you know.
Yeah. Well, anyway, let's find out what they all think. It's probably going to be something dumb.
Yeah, because Kim's opening her mouth. Oh, boy.
This one sounds illegal.
It is illegal.
Yeah, so
it is illegal.
I think the good thing about that is I feel it is your department, because this one you can make a case for. But I also think that there are things, and this is not advice I give lightly or that I fully endorse all the time, but there are certain things that are bad enough that if you speak out about it and people have a problem with that, this is going to look a lot worse if they fire you and if you talk elsewhere than it will if they fix the problem. And I think it's often worth putting that forward and seeing if you can make something internally and saying, hey, this is going to be a major issue if it's found out, and having that understanding, because I feel like when things like this happen, that's when you encounter that, oh, I need help, or I want to fix this, and you'll know very quickly if there are people who are going to hear you and make space for that, or if they're going to shut it down. And if they're going to shut it down, you just have to take that next step and understand that they've just broken the law.
Okay.
How have they broken a law? I'm so confused.
I mean, if they are paying two people separately and they're doing it like purposely based on race, then yeah, I understand that. But again, Kim, you just said that you basically tell them it is your place to talk about it, even if that's not the case. Like, for example, even if like you're depends on where you are in the corporate ladder. I mean, if you're like a voice actor, but you have like 3 lines, you don't really have a say in that kind of thing. I'm not saying that you should let it slide if you don't want to, but you gotta, again, these are things that you approach them respectfully. That they're already coming off the bat with this kind of like, oh, this is clearly racially motivated. And if you don't do what I say, I'm going to go to a different company and talk about it. It's like, why would I want to hire you if you're doing this?
I know I wouldn't.
And I'm not saying that it's okay for people to pay to people differently based on skin color. That's not okay. But
It's not. And that is a discriminatory practice, but it's this whole scenario is very presumptuous that they're giving.
yes, exactly. It's very. It's literally like she's assuming that it's going to be the worst case scenario and saying, "Oh well, it's your duty to do something about it." And it's like, but what if it's not? What if it's just like, okay, they did this. I want to find out first. Don't assume it comes from a place of malice until you know if it does. And then if you do, and even if they're mean or whatever, you don't go, well, you need to listen to me, or I'm going to go to another company and badmouth you. It's like, then why would I want to hire you?
Exactly. I wouldn't. What
Let's
does
keep
everyone
going.
else say?
Yeah, this is one of those things where I'm going to document everything, and I'm going to present them a case and be like, "Hey, here are the consequences of not fixing this," and we could do this one of 2 ways. And I'm going to put it in their court and let them make the decision to fix it, hopefully, or escalate it. You know, find a lawyer if I have to, that kind of thing.
Fair, but again,
Well,
it would
but
be based on.
you'll escalate it? I don't know if that's the right that's the right phrase to use.
Well, I get where they're coming from because this is discriminatory practices. So I understand where the guy is coming from. However, again, you are assuming that this is based on discriminatory actions. None of you have said the first step, which you should go and you should ask them, hey, why is this the case?
That is a good point.
Because there might be a valid reason. I'm not saying that you can't get upset. There might not be a valid reason. But none of you have said, okay, first I would go and I'd say, hey, what's going on here? You know? That's what you do first. You don't assume and go, I'm going to gather information and present a case. What if it's simply that you have 2 lines and other people have 3 pages?
Or a whole Shakespearean soliloquy.
Yes, exactly. What if the person's doing more work than you? I'm not saying that makes it that you cannot be upset being paid less, but it makes more sense in that case. It may not be discriminatory at all. You guys have not even tried to figure out if it's discriminatory or not.
Sigh.
Let's continue.
Mm-hmm.
Depending on, to add to all of those points, another thing that I do is talk to the person directly if I have a relationship with them.
The
It's like,
person that's
the
being
person
less
who's
paid.
yeah, the
Okay.
person who's being
Mhm.
underpaid, and just be like, hey, do you know that the competitive rate for your role is X? And just kind of like, just FYI, in case you're not being paid competitively, like we can work together to make sure that everyone is treated equally at this company. It's something that I'm passionate about, and then they're open to, then we'll start talking about a plan for them, because it's like the legal hammer may not be right for everybody. Like they might just be like, this is my dream job. I don't care if I'm being paid less. I'm here.
So wait. Is she saying that she would advocate for these people if they're happy and comfortable and don't want to make a scene?
You mean speak up for them after the person tells them not to?
Like, again, I'm not saying discriminatory hiring practices is a thing that should be allowed. But if this person's like, I'm fine and I understand it and whatever, and you're like, well, no, it's not fine. I know it's not fine for you. Who asked you?
If the person getting paid is fine with how much they're getting paid, then it's not your place to demand the higher-ups that they get paid otherwise.
You can inform them, which is what she's saying she's doing, but it's like, it almost sounds like she's saying like, oh, I'll speak up for them, even if they're comfortable and saying, well, I don't mind it. I'm going to make sure they know that they can speak up. And it's like, but what if they don't want to? I'm not, again,
Then-
if they want to, then fine. But again, none of these people are assuming that maybe there's a reason behind it aside from discrimination.
Yeah. What does the last guy say?
And if the legal route is right for them, then we take that route. If it's not, then we work on negotiating better offers or what we can do to help elevate them in different ways.
Yeah, I really want to second that point. Tech and gaming and all of that is just a very volatile industry, in case you haven't heard. So definitely talking to the person in question to find their comfort level of the situation. You know, some people have been trying to get jobs in certain areas for a long time, and there's, this is a lot of sensitive stuff happening, and some people are a lot more aggressive in those negotiations with salaries, and there's a lot of things like that to consider. It's definitely something where, hey, it's on paper that there are things that are happening that are unfair, but yeah, unfortunately, some people, I don't want to say settle, but some people take lower pay because they're a little bit more willing to compromise, right? I think it's part of talking to those individuals as well, being like, hey, you gotta fight for this hire, and making sure they're actually on board with that fight, because when it comes to like wages and salaries and stuff like that, it's usually gets pretty hairy.
So again, advocating for the people without asking. If somebody was willing to compromise for something, maybe they like it.
Yeah, I mean, why else would they compromise?
Look, again, I'm not saying you can't go to them and say, "Hey, what you're being paid is less than you could be. If you advocate for yourself, you could be doing this." That's what you do. You don't. Again, I don't think any of these people here would do this subtly. They would make a giant scene.
Yeah, I agree with that. But the people that they're talking about sound like they don't want to make a scene.
And look, I'm not saying that people who get paid less or based on discrimination should just be quiet. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying you need to go to them and ask them first. And if they're uncomfortable with it and they don't want to, it's not your job to do it for them. Because
Yeah.
you could be jeopardizing their job because of your sense of moral right and wrong. And I'm not saying that moral sense of right and wrong is wrong. But if they are comfortable and they are happy and they don't want to risk their job to try to do just to rock the boat, and they would not like you to advocate for them, then you probably shouldn't.
What he said.
I mean, am I wrong here?
You're not.
All right, let's continue.
I would like to add, talk to the white guys you trust, because white guys get paid at a level that you don't know sometimes, and unless you talk to white men that tell you this is what we really get paid, you don't even know the reality of what the pay is. Like,
What?
Where is this coming from?
Dude, I look, I get it. I'm not saying people don't face discrimination. I'm not. Okay, I'm 100% on board with that being a thing. However, again, a lot of assumptions you're throwing around here.
Quite.
What if you find out that they're actually being paid the same amount? Or what if you find out they're being paid more because they have more lines?
Mm-hmm. What about
or
that?
more experience?
These people are crazy.
I need to go to a white guy and ask them how much they're getting paid so I know what the real pay is. What?
The pay is not the same for everyone. People negotiate their prices.
Exactly. Someone who has been in the industry for 6 years versus someone who's been in the industry for 2 years might get paid more, not because they're white-skinned or whatever. It could be because simply they have more experience.
Duh.
you'll think even the sites that say people get paid stuff, white guys get paid more than other times. Like, and you don't even know that's a reality. I doubled my rate when I found out like white guys get paid double the rate that I was going to charge.
I don't even have words for this.
And I can barely hear him. You sure you turned the volume all the way up?
Yep, it's up all the way. I can try. Let me double check. Up, it's a little bit more. There you go.
Ah, much better. Yeah, I got no idea what these people are spewing.
He doubled his price almost by talking to a white guy. Okay, so let me translate for you. There was no discrimination there. You set a rate that was not the market rate because you lacked knowledge of the market. That's what it sounds like to me.
Yeah. Or it just sounds like you're insane.
No, but am I wrong? It's like he's saying I doubled my rate when I found out what white guys get double their rate, and it's like, so you didn't know the going rate for your work, and you decided upon your rate, and someone was paying that for you, and you doubled it when finding out the actual rate.
Oh, okay, that does make more sense.
So it's not a discrimination, it's you lack the knowledge. There's no discrimination there. That's just you not understanding what the actual price is and not doing the work. If it was so easy to figure out just by talking to a white guy, I'm sure if you Googled it, you would have found it out too.
Yeah, that's true. Hell, you probably could have even talked to a black guy and figured out the same thing because the other guy has more experience.
This is so weird.
Uh-huh.
Because it's another reality sometimes. Just
Get data.
get data. All right, this one's kind of complicated.
Oh no.
Issue 1, a coworker constantly interrupts you and talks over you at meetings. Issue 2, same coworker often asks you for help during the week for their job. Issue 3, same coworker has pitched ideas that you have given him as his own. Issue 4, due to his behavior, coworker is about to get promoted and become lead in your department.
Of course you bring that up with the people charged. What does this have to do with being black?
It doesn't. That is something that you bring up regardless of skin color.
Yeah, you'd go right then and there, you would be like, okay, yeah, that situation is not complicated. It's messed up. You go to the higher ups and you tell them.
I would be going to the higher ups when I notice issue 3, not at issue 4.
Okay, whatever. Let's see what people have to say. This has nothing to do with being black. This is just a standard industry practice. Sorry.
Yeah.
What do you do?
So first problem.
What are you laughing at?
I do not know. Probably their own stupidity.
Ha 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 ha. I can do it too. Ha ha. Ha.
Laughing at nothing.
Ha ha. I'm laughing. Ha ha.
So, like, how did we get to issue 4?
You outlined it in the thing. You explained it. Due to these actions. Did it not just say due to these actions he got to this?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it did.
How did we get to section 4? Were you paying attention? I mean, I get it. This is boring as hell, so I wasn't paying attention either. Let's continue this train wreck. Who's saying that? Put that down.
Oh.
We're going back to shut that shit down. That should have been shut down at issue 2. So that's the first problem. At the point of issue 4, you're almost too late. You know, it's already been done. Paperwork done been signed. You could go even with the receipts and the evidence, and folks would be like, "Oh, well, you should have came to me sooner." You know, that's the biggest lesson there. And like my man was saying, keep your receipts. You got ideas, you better write those down. I don't care if it's Trello, Notion, something, email it to yourself, something. There better be receipts with timestamps, all of that. So people over here taking your ideas, taking credit, yeah, you
Look,
yeah, shut it down.
this is
Again, yes, and also if you've told the person ideas that were yours, and they've been presenting that they were theirs, after the first time they did that, you stop.
Yeah, and also you tell them to stop doing it. You stop giving them the second time. You stop if they do it a second time. You stop giving them ideas entirely, and also make sure to tell people, "Hey, this guy is stealing my work."
Also, didn't we do like scenarios of this, like if people were being mean or doing all this stuff at the beginning, and he said that we have to act on it like right away?
Oh yeah, they did. Because they start the first issue that in the scenario is the guy keeps interrupting you at meetings.
Okay, so you tell him off and problem solved. This is a nothing burger panel. How has this panel gone on for 3 years straight?
I do not know.
It's like a narrative of my career sometimes. I never get to issue 4, but I do get interrupted a lot. I do get people trying to steal my ideas. Okay, first of all, you got, after it's, oh, I'm getting angry. Okay.
Ha ha ha, we're doing the laughing again. Ha ha ha.
It even
ha,
says
ha.
audience laughing, like we need to know that they're laughing because they're probably not actually laughing.
It's like a sigh. It's like, laugh. Please laugh. Ha ha ha.
Yeah.
Honey, let's laugh at them for no reason. Ha 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 ha. We're doing it too. Ha ha ha.
No.
Okay, after you move past the anger of somebody stealing your idea, take that as a compliment because
Wow, that's the first nice thing this person's actually said.
your idea is good. It's good to be stolen. So I had to like take, sometimes I have to take a step back because they're stealing my ideas, but they can't steal my brain. They can't steal my talent. So if they try to steal my ideas and then they try to run with it, it's not going to stick, right? So what I've done before when I run into people who steal my ideas is like I know who's going to be in that room, like senior executive, whatever. I talk to them beforehand. This is my idea. FYI, I just want to run it past you. And then the fool comes, tries to steal my idea. Like, this is my idea. And everyone's like, no, it's not. I know it's
Wow, a competent approach to things. I'm very shocked.
So am I.
Like, that's reasonable. What happened?
Mhm. The rest of her brain is full of idiocy?
No, like did they like coffee in those little water bottle things? Is that what it is?
I don't know.
Let's continue.
not your idea because she had a one-on-one with me a few days ago to pitch her idea. And then they look really terrible, trying to like railroad you and steal your idea. For their interruption thing, 2 words. I'm speaking.
Okay. Or you could just say, "Hey, stop interrupting me."
Or is it say, excuse me, I'm not finished.
No, honey. I am speaking. I have spoken.
I have spoken. I did it first. I did it first. I started
No,
first.
we both did it at the same time.
I have spoken.
Yeah. Okay, let's continue because otherwise we'll be here all day.
Ugh.
Or I'm still speaking if you want to add a little third. But I've had allies that have helped me tremendously in the room, where I've had some really close friends that just will be like, hey, Pam is still talking. Or sometimes when I see someone being interrupted, I say, hey, so-and-so is still making their point. You interrupted them. Pause. Let them sit with that.
Fair.
Why isn't she this smart for the rest of the panel?
I don't know. Maybe she just got her second wind now, or her first wind, I guess.
She has wind.
Can they
She definitely breaks wind.
finish their point now? And there's a lot of things that you can do to really like.
Who's Kim talking to?
No, I think she's still looking at the screen. That or
No,
her
look,
imaginary friends.
Watch.
Bring that person's attention to what's happening.
He was talking.
And when I've had one-on-ones with the interrupters before, a lot of times it's kind of like an insecurity or they have ADD or something else, and they don't realize they're doing that. So half of it is also giving them the benefit of the doubt.
Where has this person been the entire panel?
Yeah, it's like someone else.
It's like an invisible ghost conked her over the head. A baby ghost conked her over the head. Haha. See what I did there?
Or a weird ghost.
Yeah. Conked her over the head. So she's like, wow, must be competent. Let's continue.
Which sometimes it's easy to jump to, oh, they're interrupting me because X, Y, and Z, and they're just trying to do whatever. But just having a conversation with them, like, hey, you're interrupting me a lot, and I feel like I can't get my point across. And then they'll, most of the time, take it very well. Like, hey, oh, I didn't realize I was doing that. I'll try to be more cognizant of it. And you know what, next time I do that, can you give me the signal? And it's worked out for me really well.
Bravo. I didn't disagree with a single part of that.
Nor did I. That was actually a very competent answer.
I'm sure we won't get that. We'll hope there may be more, but I doubt it.
Yeah. Too much to ask for.
I actually really wanted to speak on that as someone like who struggles with ADHD. And this is a problem I've had to really work on. It's very easy for me to get excited and want to interrupt someone and not intend to dismiss what they're saying. I just
Hey, we can speed this up. Let's speed it up a little bit.
That would be nice.
if I don't say it then, the thought is gone and it's never coming back. And that approach of just sitting me down and being like, hey, you're doing this, and then working with, so at issue 1, that's a
It's too fast. See if this is better.
stage we can work on. We can talk about that together. I don't take that as disrespectful for any other reason. I understand that I do it. If someone does it to me, it's like, okay, we can work on that. We can have a conversation. Issue
Is
2,
good?
I can work in my favor. If they're asking me to help them with their work, I'll just let my
Is this good?
It sounded fine to me. I could hear everything.
Okay.
boss know, hey, so-and-so's asking for help with this. Spend some time to set some hours aside to help out with that. And if this keeps showing up, and I look like a lead. Now, issue 3,
What are you doing, Kim?
Being an idiot?
He's like agreeing. I'm like, yes, I agree. I am nodding my head. It's like, thanks, Kim.
we've already seen some solutions for that. And if I've done what I needed to do at issues 1 and 2 and had those conversations and we still get to issue 4, then I'm having a conversation with the directors and the people making that promotion decision. And if they still feel strongly that this person deserves a promotion over me, then that tells me I'm not valued at that company.
What?
No,
Okay, this
that's-
guy's still stupid.
No, that seems kind of fair. If they've had discussions about both topics and the person's still stealing their stuff and they're getting promoted, right? Now, I would want to know what reasons they are promoting the person. If there is no reason and they're not making a good case for it, then I would say, okay, you're not valued at the company. But maybe there's a reason.
I guess that's fair.
Not saying that it gives the person the right to interrupt and steal your stuff, but maybe there's a reason. And if there's a reason, then maybe that you want to know that first before you decide whether or not you're valued by the company.
True.
And that's when, it's a different kind of conversation that we have to have.
Yeah, I just wanted to say
Oh,
that's
no.
exactly my thinking on it. I really value, like, every time it's just ascertain intent. Like, find out at every stage, like, is this something? Because you're very right. Like, you make
What is going on here? Ascertain intent. Yes, Kim, this is something you should do for every single scenario here.
You're talking about Kim Belair. She doesn't know.
But no. She's saying she wants to get an idea of what the situation is. Shouldn't you be doing that for everything that you're doing?
You would think so.
And am I wrong that she didn't do that for the past, like, tons of examples?
I'm pretty sure she did not. You have a point.
Did all of them get hit over the head by baby ghosts?
Probably.
might be just
They were
some-
probably all
encountering someone who's
dropped on their heads by
interrupting
baby
because
ghosts.
I in Minecraft.
Mm-hmm.
they don't realize it, or because they have that idea, versus someone who's like, oh no, I'm just interrupting you because I want to talk over you. And I think
I guess that's fair.
that you can tell very quickly at those different stages, like, is there a road forward here? Like, I think that one of the hardest things that gaslights us the most in these jobs is always being convinced that there is a way forward if we just work hard enough. But sometimes you ask a question and that person, like, if you get to that point that they say, actually, we do know, we're still promoting him, you're right. There just isn't a path forward, but
That's true. But again, you'd want to know why.
Mm-hmm.
a lot of us will keep throwing ourselves at that wall trying to find a way forward and blaming ourselves for not being able to find it instead of realizing it was never there and having to walk away. Like, there is no shame in that, in having to say, like, there's just nothing we can do here. And I have to look elsewhere because you have allowed issue 1, 2, and 3 to get to this point despite my efforts. And now you're rewarding it.
Yeah, life isn't Dark Souls. You could play a different game when it's
Yes.
too hard.
Did he just compare life to Dark Souls?
Yeah. I mean, this is not bad. This is actually decent. But again, can you explain to me how this has anything to do with black people specifically?
It doesn't. This is really,
that-
this whole scenario is a generalization.
This is called Black Excellence in Game Development. How did that have anything to do with Black people?
It didn't, as I said.
Next life. That's the quote of the show. Life is in Dark Souls. Play the game. Scenario. All right. You have created a game that has a general market audience. The main characters are all anamorphic characters, and the music is based on public domain classical music in order to save on the budget. When you meet a potential investor, they ask you if you can make a game that targets a Black audience. What do you do?
Isn't that what you guys do?
Yes.
What do you do? Do what they ask? Isn't your consulting position to do this?
I
Someone
think
asks you to do your
so.
job. What should you do? Do your job.
Yeah. What else are you supposed to do?
I don't agree with your job. I think it's weird. But you know what? Like, fine.
Yeah.
Hey, can you please do your job? No.
I can, but why?
Because you're Black and you know Black people.
Is the investor Black?
The investor's not Black.
The why was more rhetorical.
No.
Like, why do they want me to make a game that targets a Black audience? That's the question I'm asking them.
Okay, got you.
You know, I can totally do that, but why do you want me to do that? And the answer to that question dictates what happens next.
No, if you're at a company and they're paying you money and they ask you to do something that is within your realm of expertise, your job is to do it.
Yeah.
Now, you could choose not to, and that's fine. And you can ask them why. I guess that's fair. But you're like saying, well, if they don't have a good reason that I agree with and I'm not doing it, it's like, okay.
But why?
Let's see what he has to say.
I think you can also go, it is.
That's all
They-
right.
They're not, and then go like, yeah, right? Can't you see it?
What are they laughing at?
She's saying that you could say, you say to them that that you already say to them that it is already for a Black audience. Can't you see? And you know what the funniest thing is, Kim? That's the first truthful thing you've said all panel. You're right. A game that's not specifically made for a Black audience can still be for them. Shocking, I know.
Yeah. How about that?
Weird.
Jinx.
That's it.
That's a great answer.
I mean, the running joke is Black people play games, man. Right? Yeah, we play all types of games, you know? So just make a good game. And guess what? Black people will play it.
So your job's irrelevant then. You just explained why your job's irrelevant again. Do these people just never? I honestly don't understand these people. I just don't.
Yeah. Neither do I.
He just explained why his job does not matter. If you make a good game, Black people will play it too. Okay, so then why are you pandering to them by forcing stuff into games that don't need to be there? If all you need to do is make a good game, then wouldn't that be the best thing to do?
Yes.
So then why are you race swapping and gender swapping and forcing weird dialogue to games that doesn't belong rather than making a good game? It's a good question.
Yeah. Huh.
Thanks for explaining why your job doesn't matter, but okay.
All right. Last one.
Last one? Wait, this is just 20 more minutes. Oh, probably have questions. Oh, God.
Design discussions, a fellow employee says they don't see color and that racism doesn't exist in games. Games are just fun. However, they seem to always disagree when a diversity idea is brought up. What do you do?
Ask them why they disagree about the diversity ideas.
Yeah.
Wouldn't that be the first? It's like, well, they say they don't see racism, but whatever, but they're always against diversity. It's like, maybe you want to ask them why?
Yeah. I mean, I would say, I'm not sure I understand your stance on this. Can you explain it to me?
Oh, hey,
Boom,
I
they
noticed.
explained it.
Or, hey, I noticed whenever we try to bring up things that might diversify the game, you say you don't want it. Is there a reason?
Yeah.
Like,
I mean,
I'm
that's
sorry,
the
is it
logical
common
thing
sense?
to do.
Common sense
No,
much?
it's logic. It's
It's common sense that's not common anymore, unfortunately.
Yeah, it's a lost art.
I'm curious what they say.
Uh-huh.
So I have a pretty unique perspective on this one because I don't live in the States anymore. I live in Finland, working at Housemarque, and they have a very different perspective on racial issues there because they don't have the conversations that we have in the States. And so I have to use a much more gentle hand with a lot of my coworkers when an issue like this would come up, because it's most of everyone I work with has the right intention. And I think that's true for a lot of this industry. People have the right intentions. They might not have the right education. And, you know, I know a lot of people are like, Google is free. I have mixed feelings on that statement because while it's not my job to educate you, it's also Google is also very easy to misinform you.
What?
Is
Is he trying to say that if they're against it, you need to explain them why, but you shouldn't explain for them? But I need to explain to you why it's an issue what you're doing, but I also don't want to, but also you shouldn't use something else.
Also, you're in Finland. Their culture is entirely different. If you are an outsider, you're not from Finland, you have no right to tell them what they should do.
Exactly. You should be, if you're going to be truly diverse, shouldn't you learn what their culture is and appeal to their culture?
Yeah. What? What's with this guy? This guy was the dumb. This guy might be dumber than Kim.
I don't know. We'll see.
And if I don't give you the right tools to search what you need to, you are going to find the wrong answer.
I need to give you the right tools to find the answer that I want you to find.
Oh yeah, that's not biased at all.
That's like saying, I'm going to give you a test. I'm going to make sure I want you to take a test, but I'm going to make the test how I want it and make sure the answers to the test aren't the ones that make sense. They're the answers that I've chosen.
Huh. Sounds like some tests that you have taken in the past.
Yep.
And so with a issue like this, it's a conversation of education. And after a certain point, though, it becomes a conversation of aggression, because if I've educated you and you are still willfully continuing to ignore that, we have a very different problem on our hands.
Again, why would you not?
No,
Go ahead.
Sorry, you go first. No, you go first.
I was going to say, why would you not go to the person and tell them what you're noticing and ask them why first? It's like, oh no, I need to educate you. But what if they have a valid reason?
And that's a good point. My point, what I was going to say was, again, it's not your culture, therefore it is not your place. You could say, hey, you could say, hey, I don't really understand what you're doing why you're doing this. Can you please explain it to me? And boom,
Exactly.
we'll explain it. You don't have to enforce your will onto them when it's not your country.
I know, honey, don't you know? I need to make sure you find the answers and get the education that I decide you get the answers that I want to.
But that's so dumb.
But, like, he's saying that I want you to find the right answers, whatever. It's like, okay, but what if there's no right answer? What if it depends on the person?
Or the environment, or the situation, or literally anything.
This is really weird. Let's continue.
But I'm always going to lead with the person, giving them the benefit of the doubt, especially, you know, not being in the Americas and living in Europe and seeing how they view things differently. I hear that phrase probably more often than I anticipated. But I know they don't mean ill by it. They genuinely are trying to say, I want to see a world where everyone is equitable. And so teaching them kind of why they need to respect and understand diversity and honor it rather than ignore it is the crucial first step for me.
So wait. You're saying that they're saying they want an equitable world where everybody's equal. And you're saying, well, you can't do that. You have to understand why it's important that you need to honor and you need to put us up on a pedestal and make us bigger than you.
That doesn't sound very equal to me.
But isn't that what you guys want, to be treated exactly the same? If you don't want to be treated the same, then you're in the wrong line of work.
Yeah.
I don't get this.
I think this guy's in the wrong line of work in general, because he hasn't said much smart stuff.
All I'm going to say is that, again, this is not about whether or not this guy is deciding for himself what he wants people to see. And then he's going like, well, okay, but if you don't see it the way that I want you to, there's a problem here. And it's like, but that's not how that works. It's never how that works.
Especially because it's not his culture.
Yeah,
Things work
exactly.
differently, and things work differently in different countries.
And if you want to be treated equal, then you want equity. If you are trying to be put on a pedestal, then you have an ego, and that is a different story.
Quite. Let's continue.
I really agree. Like there's a lot of time that people have a job to educate, and it isn't. At the same time, like I consider myself having some responsibility sometimes towards harm reduction.
And yet you cause a lot of harm, Kim.
Quite so.
Mostly to video game profits, just so you know.
And if I don't do a little bit of help with that kind of coworker to have that conversation, there may be harm done inadvertently. It's not necessarily what they're trying to do, but by putting something ignorant in the game, they might be harming someone else. And that kind of discussion is worth having for me, more so than it would just be like, yeah, go have Google. Because you're completely correct. There's a ton of misinformation on there, or a ton of feelings like, well, I did Google it. I found something that reinforced my point, and therefore I'm going to move forward with it.
Which is perfectly
Okay.
valid too.
So wait, Kim. You're saying that people can go on Google and find things to support their views, and that it's not okay though unless they do it how you tell them to do it, and that reinforces your views.
Why does anyone listen to this woman?
Is that not the exact same thing?
So
let me get this
yeah.
straight. You guys decide that you know how things are, and other people need to see it exactly the way that you do. And if they dare to see it a different way, it's wrong and misinformation.
Yep, that sounds like what she said.
Sounds like differing of opinions to me, and it can have a good basis for a discussion. Whatever you're doing here, Kim, isn't it?
Nope. Whatever you're doing, Kim, is being an absolute idiot who just wants to tear everything down.
Yep, let's continue.
And so it's not that I'm doing it because I think, oh, I have to do the work of that every single time. But when a game project is something that I'm working on, I see it more as like, it's my job to try to reduce harm to the people that this is representing. And I'm going to work on that first.
But how is it harming them?
It's not. She just decided that it's harming them because if you don't understand diversity or you don't want it or you're saying you want equity, it's bad and it shouldn't be equity. You need to put us on a pedestal. That's not what equity is. And if you actually want to be treated equal, that is fine. If you want to be given special treatment, then that is something that you need to explore in yourself and figure out where that's coming from.
She needs therapy. No,
Don't look at me.
I'm not saying she needs your therapy, honey. I think she needs shock therapy.
In Minecraft.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, it's a tough one, right? And so it
No, it's really not.
No, it's not.
really comes down to my relationship with this person, whether I have the patience to sit down with them.
I don't have the patience. Go Google it. Oh, you go Google it because it's misinformation.
These guys are so confusing.
Yep.
You know, for real. Because, I mean, I'd probably go above their head, honestly. You know, and there are companies and there are programs and everything that can, like, teach you to not be racist.
Whoa. Whoa, dude. They are saying that they don't view color, and your response is, yeah, well, by doing that, you're racist. What?
I have no words.
If somebody says they don't see color and they genuinely don't see color, then it is not your job to determine that that is racist.
Yeah, I honestly have no idea how to respond to this.
Me neither. Let's continue.
They will come into the company, like, literally. But yeah, it's
Talk into the mic. Yeesh.
We
just a
can't
matter
hear
of,
you.
The mic is right in front of you.
this person needs to be educated. Are they coming from
Mumble, 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 mumble.
a malicious place, or are they just uninformed?
Or maybe they just don't have the same opinion that you do.
Or they just don't care.
Are they coming from a malicious place or are they misinformed? What if they're neither? What if they're not malicious? What if they're not misinformed? What if they have a different opinion than you? And that doesn't
What?
align with your
No
worldview.
way. No
You
way.
mean people can have different opinions?
different opinions? You mean people can have
Diggs.
different opinions and different You mean people can have different opinions, different views, entirely different takes on literally anything, and it's okay to do so because not everyone has to have the exact same mindset like we're all living in a hive mind?
Yeah, but apparently you're not educated, it's their job to educate you. But then it's also not their job to educate you because they don't want to and they don't have the patience to. But if you go on Google, that's bad because it can reinforce your point. So you have to be educated, but not educated, but educated the way they want you to be.
Yeah,
Yeah, this is just brain rot at this
well,
point.
hell. Can we just end it early?
I want to, but we have 16 minutes left. Let's finish it.
Okay.
But yeah, all this, I don't see color, and
I'm more curious about the questions at the end.
all this is just it's a big like ignoring the problem.
No, that's exactly what it is. It's ignoring a problem so that it doesn't exist.
Isn't that what you guys want? Oh no,
You
can't ignore problems because we have to make them even bigger problems.
If someone says they don't see color and they don't want to and they want to treat you like an equal person and they actually do that through their actions, then it is not ignoring a problem. It is completely overriding a problem and creating something that and ignoring it for a good reason.
Yeah.
Or if the problem doesn't affect me, now the problem doesn't exist. It's a very problematic mindset to have, and you see.
No, it's not. If someone doesn't see a problem, and it doesn't that not make the problem go away? No, it doesn't because I said so. Well, if the person doesn't actually treat you any differently, then there is no problem, and therefore it doesn't not just ignoring the problem; it's avoiding an issue and making a problem.
And therefore lessening the problem's relevance. Oh, can you say that is the problem?
Yeah, I was gonna say it's like mitigating the problem, or some people might just call that solving a problem.
Yeah. Oh my god, I can't stop laughing. Wow.
All over the place. It's super toxic. So
It's super toxic.
so I would probably, if I liked the person,
Whoa, bias much?
Mm-hmm.
then I would sit down with them. If I didn't really care for them like that, I would go above their head.
Wow.
Rude.
So
Rude and presumptuous.
I don't like you, so I'm not going to educate you. I'm going to go above your head and tell on you. Mom, teacher, Billy didn't share his crackers with me.
What the hell? This guy is
Like, look, we have an issue here. We have to solve it. And if they're not willing to solve that, I would go somewhere else. And
You should go somewhere far away.
maybe to the sun.
In Minecraft.
Sure.
I really want to stress that, especially even I know like when folks are first getting in and it feels a certain type of way, but like, don't be afraid to go somewhere else. Constantly like be ready to upgrade your status in your portfolio and putting out good work, do good work where you're at, but don't let people like hold you hostage at the
This is literally about someone who said, I don't see color. How are you being held hostage?
Wait, did he actually say the word hostage?
Yes, he literally said, don't let these places hold you hostage. And I'm thinking, you literally explain how one of your coworkers is saying they don't see color and then they're adverse to diversity. Not a single one of you have asked them why, which should be the first step. And then you're saying, well, if I don't like them, I'm not going to educate them on why. I'm going to go above their head. And if they don't listen to me, I'm going to just leave.
I really want to use the bleep button.
No, please, we got to
Aw.
get through this.
these different jobs. If they aren't treating you right, they aren't treating other people right, go somewhere else, for real.
Yeah, I think I listened to a podcast on product management the other day where you're like 80% more likely to be promoted if you go somewhere else. So there's an easy change if you're an organization that's not supporting you. Back to the scenario where it's just, I agree. It's like you can't be the champion every single time, and it's like you really got to pick your battles. How much do you want to work with this person? How well do you have the relationship with this person? Do you think they'll be open to a conversation? If not, just make sure your pitch is better and well prepped. And there's other ways that you can just get around having to deal with this person, making sure you have connections with other people outside of that person, so the decision is made before the meeting even starts.
Okay.
What?
get around it.
That doesn't solve anything.
Isn't that
Okay.
avoiding the problem? How dare you?
I also
Wow.
ask how much impact this person's ignorance has, because sometimes you can have a person who has some bad opinions on a team, and those will never show. Like they don't have any say, so I can go, okay, cool. I'm not going to bother adjusting that. Versus someone.
But isn't it your job to educate them, Kim? How dare you ignore it? You're saying if they don't have a say that you should ignore it and not make a big deal about it? But Kim,
Evidently.
aren't you
That's quite,
obligated to
contradictory.
tell them?
Yeah, she's contradicting herself again.
One who's like, if this is the creative director or the design lead, we definitely have a bigger problem to solve.
Again, all they said was they didn't see color and they are opposed to diversity. None of you have asked them why. Perhaps they have a valid reason. Maybe it's set in a certain setting and they're telling you no because in that setting at that time period of the game, that didn't exist.
What?
You mean there wasn't a black samurai in Japan? Sorry, I had to bring that up.
And so I think it's also about looking at that. Like, if there's an amount of energy you're going to expend, where is that energy going to go, and is it worth it? Because you're doing a lot of work now, and is it actually going to impact anything?
Yes,
No,
it's going to
no.
impact the sales.
Yeah, I was going to say, no, Kim, your work doesn't impact anything, but you're right. It does impact things. It impacts the sale, as in lowering them.
Quite so. How is it getting fired by Sony, Kim?
However, we can go on forever. We're getting to the questions.
We could go on forever, but let's take the questions. So while you come up for the questions, there's microphones on each side to take questions.
Here we go. We're going to get questions. I wonder if anybody asks any interesting ones.
Or any good ones?
I'm going to do some quick shout outs. There is another panel. There's a roundtable, the Black and Gaming Roundtable at 5:00 in South Hall. I think it's
Wow, that sounds boring.
2014. If you want to go, Dennis Matthews is leading that session. And then there's the Black and Gaming Foundation Award Show tomorrow, which has a QR code in front of the stage. If you want to RSVP that, you all invited to come to the Black and Gaming Award Show on Thursday at 6:00, I think.
Why are there so many things that have black and gaming? I mean, I get it, but like, there's more than just black people playing games, right?
No, they don't.
I don't think they care.
Clearly not.
Yeah, 6:00. All right.
Can I plug my talk?
Let me pump your talk, George. Right?
Oh yeah. So tomorrow I'm also doing a talk at 2:00 on hip hop and narrative design. So please come out and support that as well.
James.
Literally, he looks like the kind of person who would be getting that kind of talk.
Yeah.
Can I also have a plug?
Yes, you may. Go ahead.
All right, so for the big awards, I'm going to be passing out champagne and getting the party started. So come see me in the front.
Yeah, because people have to be drunk to watch this. Look at that face. Look at the guy.
Oh, that's a good face. That could be a thumbnail.
Face just like, did you say champagne? Just call me a champagne socialist. No, I was kidding.
All right. Anybody wants to plug anything else real quick? No? All right. First question. Go ahead.
All right. Hello. Thank you guys so much for this. This is awesome.
I guarantee that's not an audience member.
Yeah, it's probably someone paid to be there.
A mini scenario myself.
I have a bit of a mini scenario myself. So imagine there's a game in production geared towards a certain hue of person, and there's a challenging pipeline for production and a low budget. So they've decided to make Black representation DLC. How do you start to have that conversation about representation being more than just a plus up?
You literally said the game was being designed for people with black skin, but then they're making a DLC for it. Huh? Oh, you said a certain hue. So you're talking about white people? You didn't clarify.
Yeah.
If you say a game is being made for people of a certain skin, you need to clarify what skin color that is.
Yeah. I'm still so confused.
Data. Literally just be like, here is why representation matters. You get numbers, you show them the profitability in representation, and it's no longer DLC.
Also, I kind of feel like the more authentic experience.
And it's no longer DLC because you said so. Okay, that must be nice. Did you just wave your magic wand and make it so?
I don't know. Probably thinks he is a wizard.
I don't know.
Experiences have representation from the jump off, like right at the vision. You don't even have to think about it, and the audience can tell if representation is an afterthought, and that's not going to feel authentic.
All right, great answers. Next up.
And what if they don't care?
I know I don't.
Do you know what's really cool? If it's a DLC, the people who care can download it, and the people who don't have to.
Yeah, that's the good
It
thing
almost-
about DLCs. They're optional.
It's almost like you're giving the ability for the game to be diverse, but you're also giving the ability of choice for the player. Maybe instead of
Because
looking at DLC like lesser, you should look at it as a positive.
Yeah, it's the same with mods. With mods for games, they're optional.
Okay, we get another scenario now, apparently.
Ugh.
Hello, my name is Dennis Gillum. I'm a product manager at EA working at Positive Play. And in my previous career, whenever someone would mention that something's ghetto, I would always correct them and say that it's innovative because that's what happens when you do a lot with a little bit.
Nice.
In the panel's opinion, I wanted to know, we went over a lot of scenarios on like what we should do when things go wrong. Avatar: The Last Airbender was mention of something going right. In the panel's opinion, I would like to know what are some other games or IP that does diversity inclusion right?
Oh boy, this is going to be interesting.
Is she gonna mention Bowser?
Probably not. Hopefully. Please don't.
Let's find out.
Beyond Good and Evil, the first one.
Yes.
Great.
Look, Carl is humble. I'm going to say Wildflowers.
Wildflowers did a pretty good job. Wildflowers did a good job.
I mean, it feels like a cliche answer, but the Spider-Man Miles Morales game is like,
Of course.
Of course.
Of course.
Jinx.
Of course it's that game. Of course. Why am I not surprised?
Because it's literally a game made for that.
Also, it's about games that did diversity and inclusion right, but based on whose opinion? You're saying the panel's opinion. Okay, so it's games that you decided did it correctly then. Okay.
I think, a really great example of that. There's a, as a mixed person, seeing that kind of representation is very rare. So
Dude, you know what's really cool? If you want to see it, you can. But if you don't, you know what's really cool? You could still identify with the character if you don't look like them. What?
No way.
that was pretty cool for me.
That was going to be an answer. I was going to shout out Evan Narcissus because I got to do it. Sorry, I have to do it. I
Did she point to somebody?
Evan Narcissus? Ooh, is that like the descendant of Narcissus or something?
I don't know. Let's see what
really
she
enjoyed
says.
that game and the perspective that I felt was added in as just like the day-to-day life of a person existing in Harlem versus just like the Spider-Man of it, like it understood. But there are a lot of titles. I'll have to think about it and just give a list at the end of things.
Thank you.
Wow, Kim's talking less.
I'll also put in, honestly, game I just finished shipping.
Oh, so a game that you have personal investment in does diversity right.
Which game?
I'm sure
gonna
that's
say?
not biased at all.
Oh, it's totally biased, but he's gonna say which game.
Walking Dead, Saints and Sinners, Retribution.
Has anyone in chat played that?
Yeah, but
So, you noticed anything?
does it do diversity right?
Or
Let us know.
does
We
it-
won't be able to read the comments or anything, but let us know.
I mean, well, we'll watch the replay. We'll watch it in replay, obviously. But do tell. Did you notice anything
Yeah,
while
I was-
playing that game?
Very happy to see. I really love when representation is just there. It's not like overdone and
they don't have any self-awareness, do they?
Not at all.
like really needs to be spelled out and pointed out like, hey, they're black. Like, no, we just existed. It was there in the character creation, all the different, there's tons of different black characters and they just, happened to be black. It wasn't oversold.
You're literally in a conference thing called Black Excellence in Game Development, and you're saying you like diversity that you don't notice is there. So wouldn't this whole panel
This whole
be the opposite?
it makes this whole panel irrelevant and
Yeah,
contradictory.
just saying, just curious.
Idiot.
Really enjoyed it for sure.
Oh, and I'll plug Apex. I think they do. I mean, I know from working there, they do a lot of consultation with various people from various backgrounds before shipping a character. I was there while I worked on Catalyst, and so I wasn't working on Apex, but I got a lot of the I was on the DEI board, so
A DEI
Of
board
course
for
he
Apex?
was.
Really? Why do you have
Apex
a DEI
Legends
board?
has there's a DEI board for Apex Legends.
That's kind of, I mean, it
That's
doesn't
sad.
surprise me, but it also surprises me somewhat.
But that's just sad.
It's unnecessary is what it is.
I know my brother has played Apex Legends, and I'm pretty sure he never noticed that stuff.
Well, but they did it right maybe then. Who knows?
Maybe it was before they had a DEI board.
I had a lot of conversations with people working on that character, and they really worked with people from the trans community to make that character representative of that community, and they do that basically every character, from my understanding. I could be wrong. Pamela over here might have more information on that one than I do, but from my experience, Apex is pretty good about that.
So it could be the case, but you don't know.
Again,
Okay.
contradictory.
Question.
Sorry.
Sorry. Don't try to get to. We have 6 minutes. Go ahead.
Hello, my name's Valencia. I know some of the people on the panel. Hi.
Alexia?
It says Lindsay.
I think it's wrong.
I know some people on the panel.
My
Hi.
question is, I start
Yeah, kind of weird.
my first gaming job ever as a Black female gameplay engineer, and
Congratulations.
Why does that matter?
Black female, a gaming engineer. Can't you just say I start my job as a gaming engineer because that's what you are? Why do you
Why did
need
you
to
have to add the
quantify it
black
by
and
putting a
female?
bunch of labels? Yes.
Why did she have to add the black and female just to get cheers from them?
I hate to break it to you, but everybody here is not blind. I'm pretty sure they can look at you and see that. I mean, then again, some of these people dress very, very strangely, but I would hope that you're someone who vaguely resembles a female and is black. So we can tell about you. You didn't need to tell us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is he?
He's snapping. He's poetry slam snapping.
It's not a poetry slam. You're just getting slammed.
No. How
Try
dare
that.
you insult my art?
and I start in May, and I just want to know what advice can you give to me as someone who's brand new to the industry
Oh boy.
Here we go. Is Kim gonna talk first?
and a Black female, especially if you're like engineering.
You're a gaming engineer. You don't need to be known as the black female one. It doesn't matter.
No,
It's if you
You're
want
an
to be.
engineer. If you're engineering a game, no one is going to freaking care.
It's like I am a black female gaming engineer. Guess what? I am a red-haired therapist. I'm gonna start telling people that I'm a red-haired
You're a
Jewish
red-haired. No, you're a red-haired Jewish therapist.
Yeah, I am a ginger Jewish. I am a ginger Jewish therapist, and I am now more important because I put a bunch of extra labels in front of my name.
And I am a female Jewish goth. There, are we doing it right?
You're a female Jewish goth writer.
That too.
You just got 3 diversity
and
checkboxes.
and journalist. Self plug for that Park Place.
You just push that to the after talk because that's going to be like a 10-minute conversation. It's not even worth like trying to get a one-word answer. But my thing would be talk to as many people as you can and make as many friends as you can. That's my
Make friends. That's the advice you give. Make friends.
Okay.
quick advice.
All right, thank you.
Can I get a quick advice to find your people quick?
What, like find your tribe?
People that you can trust, that you can rely on.
What is Kim doing?
The organization Black and Gaming is a big family.
Is she having a seizure?
I was going to say something else starting with the letter M.
Oh, no. Never
can
mind.
help
We're not
you.
saying anything.
So there's a lot of resources that will help you early and often.
Yeah, I'll give you 4 really quick short ones. So
I thought we were doing this later. We're gonna do this later. By the way, here I'm gonna give you all my 4 really short
No,
ones.
they're giving the
friends.
short answers.
God, I'm so glad we didn't get the long answers.
right, keep receipts. Right, constantly level up. Right,
Constantly level up. What does that mean?
your skills, whatever, and then for sure have fun.
Level up your skills and have fun. Wow, I feel like I'm in preschool.
Well, that is how old these people are mentally.
That's what I was gonna say. That's probably the average mental intelligence in the room.
Especially the guy next to him.
Like it's some slide.
Look at that face. Guy next to Kim. Huh?
Question. Thank you, Lucia.
All right. First of all, I got to shout out my mentor, Jabari, on the panel.
Look, these are all people coming into this thing because they have like stake in it.
Like I said, everyone here is probably paid to be there.
No, like,
It's
I
all-
gotta
no,
shout
it's
out my
all- no,
mentor.
No, it's all an inner circle. They already
They
know
all-
everybody.
They invited their family and friends to come. I'm gonna be on a panel. No one else showed up. Please come so we don't look pathetic. I hate to break it to you. You look pathetic anyways.
Reminds me of Korg. The only people who I didn't print out enough pamphlets, so the only people who came were my mom and my boy and her boyfriend, who I hate.
That's my guy.
Okay.
All right.
So
Why are you snapping again?
Dude,
Stop it.
You're not stop insulting my
First shout out.
love you, my guy. He's the reason why I'm doing this gaming stuff. He got me on my path and whatnot. Like he got me here at the GDC. So just gotta give him that respect, that love right quick. That actually goes into my question though, because I'm a new developer in this space trying to I'm trying to run my own studio. I got my twin brother right here. We're trying to do this together and whatnot. And we're trying to form a space
honey.
that is.
He said that he's doing it with his brother. Are they the Zix people?
They could be. That would actually make sense. Let's see what they're saying.
Inclusive, that does promote that diversity and whatnot. So my question to the panel is, what place, like specifically, like different companies, websites, or whatever, anything in between that I could look to really foster that diversity and like create a space where all these scenarios aren't really happening?
I guarantee Kim's gonna speak up about Sweet Baby Inc. and say that's what he needs to go. How much do you want to bet?
Oh, probably. And maybe that's how they and Sweet Baby Inc. ended up working at Zix. If this is Zix,
If this is the Zix people, that'd be hilarious.
that would be so. Like, I don't know what the word is. Is the word irony or just?
For those who don't know, if there's a mod in the chat, again, we're not here. So if there's a mod in the chat who wants to drop the video, there's a video on the channel where we found out a Sweet Baby Inc. game was called Zix. It should be Sweet Baby's Inc. It was Sweet Baby's Game Exposed, and Zix is a VR game created by two twin brothers. So we're curious if these are the same people.
It just might be this guy and his brother.
We'll see.
Oh, please be so.
I'm gonna shout out a company I used to work for, LED Games. I think they're very good about diversity and caring about diversity and building an inclusive culture. I see the recruiter Allison back there.
These guys are all in a little like echo chamber.
Yeah, kind of like Wings.
I want to shout out this person who just happens to be here.
Yeah,
Okay.
there's no one there.
We're
who
talking to
actually
her
wants be
and
there.
Brittany. Oh, Brittany's.
Sorry, what'd you say?
There's no one there who actually wants to be there.
Well, there are. I'm sure the people who want to be there because they're like, well, we get paid to be here. So
Oh, they probably do.
There too. Okay, they do amazing work in terms of creating inclusive space. Talk to them; they're gonna have better answers than I will.
cool.
Yeah, I was gonna say I'm happy to talk a little more after this, or if you want to write to talk at sweetbabyinc.com.
I called it. I called it.
As I founded the company in 2018 officially, and then 2019 we really got started. But it's grown to about 16 people now. It's been a really rewarding experience to kind of figure out best practices around like how you resolve these things and how you have to work differently. So I'm happy to talk about that anytime.
And if this did of the Zix people, they did work with them. So,
And you found out.
Thank you.
well, yes, but they didn't like that I found out, but I did.
Oh my God, I think it might be.
We'll see.
Welcome.
Hello, my name is Brian, and
Hi, Brian.
thank you for this insightful
Are you an alcoholic?
He must be.
panel. My question is, one thing I've noticed from a lot of the dialogue is it's a lot of work, extra work on top of your typical day job description. How can, especially when you factor in like hiring and they want like a diverse hiring committee, well, I'm going to be probably the token on every single hiring committee as well for that. And how can you bring that extra work and convince your boss or manager that that is actually acceptable towards your performance, especially if it impedes on your normal day-to-day job?
Huh?
Basically saying that being a diversity consultant sounds like extra work. So how do you manage that?
Easy. You don't have
You just-
diversity consultants.
Yeah, exactly. How do you solve that? You don't do it.
You save money,
Problem
and you save money. You save money on buying medication for the headaches you're going to get from the committee.
Oh, and you also save your brain cells and your profits.
And you'll probably sell more games, to be honest.
Like I said, saving profits.
You can ask it to be part of your performance review. So what you do is you go into HR and say, I'm doing these extra things. My job description, I expected them. So I reviewed. I want this to be part of my performance review. I want this to be the nuggets, the documentation to be there that I did these things, so that they can't act like I was not doing the other things I was doing. The things they asked me to do here.
Yep.
So that's
Paper trail on that one,
Paper trail.
and receipts, so that you can say, hey, I spend X hours on this per week, because what you're doing is going, this is out of my current hours. Do you want me to keep doing that? If you
No.
don't, then I'm not going to do it. But
We don't want you to keep doing it, Kim. Tell you what, we don't want you to do it out of your hours. We don't want you to do it in your hours either.
Yeah, please just stop.
You have to understand that, and if you do, you have to recognize it in my performance review that I'm contributing these extra hours.
Yes.
Hi. Well, first, thank you for the panel. This was
No, we don't. Thank you.
This wasn't amazing. It was the opposite of
this
amazing.
was amazing. No,
This was so amazing. It put me to sleep.
honestly didn't think I could find other black game devs at GDC.
You have like 15 panels that say black game, black gamers, black this, black this.
I
didn't
bet
think
you
could
half the people at the con are black.
I know, but you didn't think you could find other black game devs at the GDC. But there's like 15 different things that you've mentioned already that are black. There's going to be a black Game Awards here and a black this here and a black that. I'm sorry, if I saw the names of that, I would go, I think I could probably find some black game devs at GDC.
Yeah, think?
No, honey, you know what it is? It's going to be a black game designers award show, and it's all white people.
So I'm glad I'm here. I'm glad this talk was a thing. So
I'm not.
first of all, thank you. Secondly, you mentioned a lot about being ready and willing to leave if things don't work out. And I'm still a student, so I don't have a job in the games industry yet. I wanted to ask, did you ever feel pressure when it was your first job to sort of stay, even when everything was telling you otherwise? And how did you deal with that?
I'm going to kind of speak up because I remember that was my comment. I'm going to tell you like Carl told me. Like I was talking to him back in the lounge earlier. I don't know if this was, 5 years ago or what, before I really kind of got in. I was super gung-ho. Yeah, and Carl told me, people over the product, right? And that's my advice to you, people first. The opportunities, the jobs, they will come, I guarantee you. Find your community, find your people, do the game jams, join the Discords, join the whatever, go to the meetups, build your community. And then, of course, too, build your skills, make sure you have your portfolio, put it out there. And I guarantee you, there will be opportunities. After you land your first one, get on LinkedIn, have it up there, and stuff will keep coming to you, I guarantee you. But set that standard that you're willing to accept.
Thank you.
He said Discords and game jams.
But wait, so in other words, set a standard you're willing to accept. Then also, why is the game industry having problem with hiring people?
This is why.
Your standards might be too high. Just saying.
Mm-hmm. But
think I'm
game
overtime.
jams, honey.
Am I
Game
overtime?
jams and Discords.
Yes.
That sounds
go ahead.
familiar, doesn't it?
Thank you.
Okay.
Yep, it does.
Everyone, thank you so much.
Last question. We're in the home stretch. Only 3 minutes left. Thank God.
Hey, let's get it over with.
Hey, honey, there's a whole other panel. Do you want to watch the 2024?
How about next year?
How about no?
This is a very enlightening panel.
No, it
I
wasn't.
learned nothing.
Except that everyone is crazy.
I learned that all of you don't need, all your jobs are completely irrelevant, and all of you somehow can say that, but also not understand it.
Yeah.
Gerard, you'd mentioned...
Can you speak in my phone a little bit more? I can't hear you.
My apologies. Gerard, you'd mentioned certain links that you would share with people who had data showing that diversity is necessary and profitable. Is that something that could be made available on the Discord or anything else like that, just so we have access to it?
So currently, I'm on the DI board at Housemark, and we're actually in the process of compiling that data right now.
Give us the links that we can send to people to make sure they agree with us.
Okay.
I would literally need to talk internally to see if that was something we felt comfortable sharing externally, as it is internal work and resource gathering. However,
Hey, I would love to see that data.
I know you would.
I would love to see that data. I would love to read it all over in detail and figure out exactly where it's coming from. Because you know what? You said Google can misinform you. I just want to make sure you're not misinforming people, Not because I think you are. It could just be Google, right?
I mean, you also could just do another deep dive.
Yeah, maybe later.
if I can find that data online, it shouldn't be difficult for someone else to, and I would be more than happy to share the stuff I find on my own.
Didn't you just say later on that Google was could misinform you?
Yeah.
If I can find it, other people can. Yes, and you know what's cool? If you can find stuff that support your points, other people can find stuff to support their points. It's how the internet works.
Mm-hmm.
Surprise.
The internet is forever.
It's just a matter of, if I'm doing it on company time, I want to respect, the company and my employer there. If I'm doing it on my time, I will absolutely share that on the Discord.
Can can I have
Thank you.
30 seconds to
Yes,
say
go
at
for it.
one side point? So the other thing I was going to say is I was sitting here thinking about still the games that we wanted to list, and I was thinking to myself that like, 'cause I was going to validate because
Validate. Aha. Okay.
Did she work on that?
I don't know if she did. I feel like I know the game, and either she did or I know someone worked on it that I'm aware of. I can't remember.
that you're here and I wanted to just name that. But more than that, I want to say beyond games, I find myself struggling sometimes with games as representation, but follow Black talent in the games industry and support that, because it doesn't, like, project to project, sometimes it doesn't end up on the page, sometimes it doesn't end up in the expression of the final thing, but that doesn't mean the intent wasn't there. And more in this industry, following the people who make it and supporting them and to any project that they do is more significant than sticking to the project or the product itself.
She's literally saying that you guys, if you don't know, I can't name games that do this stuff well. So you should just support people who are this ethnicity.
She can
or whatever,
literally just
and
name
follow
the
them
games
around.
that she has worked on, like that other guy did.
No, but you misunderstand what she's saying. She is saying that it's your job to follow these people around. So even if they make a crap game, you should follow them and you should support them just because they're a certain skin color.
Well, that's racist.
Hey, Kim, this isn't a good look for you. Then again, I don't really think you. Again, I want to point out that you're a narrative consultant, but no one would ever actually know that because the way you speak and the way you talk about this kind of stuff conveys very little knowledge of this stuff, and it doesn't look good on not just for you, but for anybody around you.
You're forgetting this is the woman who didn't understand To Kill a Mockingbird.
Yeah, she didn't understand that To Kill a Mockingbird means racism bad. And you can find that video on the channel. If a mod wants to drop it in here, it should be it should have the thumbnail should say Kim Belair on it, and it has a Sweet Baby Inc. logo dressed up as Darla from Finding Nemo. There's a reason for that.
It's in the video. Someone wants to drop that in there.
The mod wants to drop that. Great. I can't see it, but if you did, great. Thanks. If not, that's fine. You can find it on the channel.
Mm-hmm.
Let's finish it up. We got a minute left.
Yeah.
That's a perfect segue, because how can somebody follow each of you on the panel, whether it be your LinkedIn, your Twitter? How can they find you?
What if we don't want to find you?
I know I don't. Do you, honey?
All right.
I'm Bagel of Death on Twitter or Sweet Baby Inc. You can follow us.
She runs the Sweet Baby Twitter.
I mean, it was kind of obvious because they write the same. They write the same way. So, yeah. Oh, by the way, I have access to Sweet Baby Inc. Twitter. I can see everything that goes on it. So, yeah. Not that there's been much going on there, but still. There was, before likes were removed, there was someone liking things. Just throwing that out there.
It's probably Kim.
Kim.
Everywhere. You can send us an email at talk@sweetbabyinc if you have any other questions, or just at Sweet Baby Inc. on Twitter and Instagram.
All right.
Yeah,
Hey,
you can find me on
chat.
LinkedIn,
Chat. Who wants to send an email to Sweet Baby Inc.?
Oh, people have done it already. I've sent them an email. I said,
Aw.
I offered them an opportunity to talk. They never took me up on it for some
Of course
reason.
they didn't take it.
or on Twitter, it's JRari. It's a terrible pun. I know. I made it when I was young.
Why not change it then?
I'm sorry. I don't buy that you made it when you were young.
JRAWRY. So feel free to look that up.
All right.
My name on LinkedIn and Pam Demonium on Twitter and Instagram.
You can
That
find
was
me
actually a little
on
clever.
most of the social media is Jabari Ali. Ali has 2 eyes.
Oh my God. I think I know who
What?
this guy is.
Oh?
I'm not sure. I have to look him in. I don't want to say anything because I'm not sure, but I think he worked on a game, an interesting game. I think I know his name. I don't know. We'll see.
LII, Jabari Ali. You can also just email me, which is better than social media. I don't really care for that. You can email me at Jabari at hiddengeniusproject.org. Jabari at hiddengeniusproject.org.
Yes, he's part of the Hidden Genius Project. I've heard of that. 19 seconds.
And myself, I am at Twitter. I'm at Writer of Kings, but I never use it. So give me on LinkedIn, Steven Ardo on LinkedIn. That's my best way to get in contact with me if you don't know me. All right. I want to thank my illustrious panelists. Did they do a good job? Give them some love.
Yay, it's over.
Yeah! We're clapping because it's over. Thank you for that line, Jade West.
So, honey, how did you like the second half of the Black Gamer Excellence, whatever the name of the panel is, the second half from 2023?
I'd like to murder something in Minecraft.
Just just make sure you make sure you're careful, because I heard there's a guy named Steve there who's very likes to shout about things.
Yeah.
So be careful. You wouldn't want to get him mad, because he'll go flint and steel.
I have a bloodlust that needs to be satisfied after hearing all of this torture.
Well, guess what? We get to go and not eat anything with wheat in it for a bunch of days and go offline. Isn't that great?
Matzah has wheat, but it's cardboard. Literal,
You know what I
edible
mean.
cardboard. If you're Jewish
right,
and you're
well,
watching this, that's what we made.
That was pretty much it. We got through that. Maybe at some point we'll do the GDC from 2024. I know there's one from 2025 as well, but I don't think it's out yet.
Yeah, at the moment it's not available.
It might be. I didn't check, so it probably isn't. But yeah, that was that. Thanks for being here. We'll be back next week at our normal time, 7 p.m. Pacific time. Psycho-Synopsis will return.
Wahaha!
Make sure to clock in then. Make sure that you've clocked in now. And time for us to clock out.
Yeah, and until then, happy nightmares.
We certainly going to have them from this.
The algorithm style, share with your crew. Escape life's hell, from spooky memes to advice obscure. Here's your dark solace of humor as a cure.